Prehistoric religion is a general term for the religious beliefs and practices of prehistoric peoples. More specifically, it encompasses Paleolithic religion, Mesolithic religion, Neolithic religion, and Bronze Age religion. Paleolithic intentional burial, particularly with grave goods, may be one of the earliest detectable forms of religious practice since, as Philip Lieberman suggests, it may signify concern for the dead that transcends daily life. A number of archaeologists propose that Middle Paleolithic societies, such as Neanderthal societies, may also have practiced early forms of totemism or of animal worship. Emil Barkler in particular suggests that a widespread Middle Paleolithic Neanderthal bear cult existed, a claim that evidence was found for Middle Paleolithic animal worship c. 70,000 BCE has been denied by the original investigators of the site. Animal cults in the following Upper Paleolithic period, such as the bear cult, may have had their origins in these hypothetical Middle Paleolithic animal cults. Animal worship during the Upper Paleolithic intertwined with hunting rites. For instance, archaeological evidence from Paleolithic art and from bear remains reveals that the bear cult apparently had a type of sacrificial bear ceremonialism, in which a bear was shot with arrows, then finished off with a shot in the lungs and ritualistically buried near a clay bear statue covered by a bear fur, with the skull and the body of the bear buried separately. Neolithic. There are no extant textual sources from the Neolithic era, the most recent available dating from the Bronze Age, and therefore all statements about any belief systems Neolithic societies may have possessed a glimpse from archaeology. Jacques Hoven suggested that the Neolithic revolution was influenced by an important theme he termed the revolution of the symbols, suggesting the birth of religion in the Neolithic. He argued that Neolithic humans were influenced by a change in thinking as much as changes in the environment, and noted a series of stages in this process. His work suggested important concepts in the evolution of human thinking. By examining figurines and early art depicting first women as goddesses and bulls as gods, he suggested several important ideas about the evolution of perception and duality. In the case of the ghost sex circle, remains of human sacrifice were found. Many of these structures had openings aligned with sunset or sunrise at the solstices, suggesting that they served as a means of maintaining a lunisolar calendar. The construction of megalithic monuments in Europe also began in the 5th millennium, and continued throughout the Neolithic and in some areas well into the early Bronze Age. Maria Gimbutas, pioneer of feminist archaeology, put forward a notion of a woman-centered society surrounding goddess worship in Neolithic Europe. The Neolithic, matristic cultures would have been replaced by patriarchy only with the arrival of the Bronze Age. Gimbutas' views do not have widespread support today. Remains of a statue in the Tarksan temples c. 2800 BCE. A detail from the megalithic temple of Najdra c. 2800 BCE. According to Gimbutas, hourglass Neolithic goddess with bird arm, from Cucutani culture 5000–3500 BCE. According to Gimbutas, a Cucutani culture goddess representation, around 4900–4750 BCE. Goddess representation 3800–3600 BCE. Cucutani culture. Goddess Council around 4900–4750 BCE. A clay model considered by some historians to be a sanctuary. Cucutani Tripoli culture. Bull representation, having a ritualistic role according to Gimbutas. Bronze Age reconstructions. The early Bronze Age Proto-Indo-European religion, and the attested early Semitic gods, are presumed continuations of certain traditions of the late Neolithic. Archaeology. Bronze Age Europe. Hints to the religion of Bronze Age Europe include images of solar barges, frequent appearance of the sun cross, deposits of bronze axes, and later sickles, so-called moon idols, the conical golden hats, the Nebraska disc, and burial in tumuli, but also cremation as practiced by the Urnfield culture. The Avantin gold cone, 1500 to 1250 BCE. Fire dogs, dating to the 11th to 9th centuries BCE, found in the canton of Zurich, Switzerland, kept at the Swiss National Museum. Wheel pendants, dating to the second half of the second millennium BCE, found in Zurich, kept in the Swiss National Museum, showing the sun cross and variant shapes. The Trundholm Sun Chariot, Nordic Bronze Age, 1400 BCE. Iron Age. While the Iron Age religions of the Mediterranean, Near East, India and China are well attested in written sources, much of Iron Age Europe, from the period of about 700 BCE down to the Great Migrations, falls within the prehistoric period. There are scarce accounts of non-Mediterranean religious customs in the records of Hellenistic and Roman-era ethnography. Scythian mythology, Celtic polytheism, Paleo-Balkans mythology, Germanic polytheism, Slavic polytheism, mythology of the Turkic and Mongolian peoples. In the case of circumpolar religion, traditional African religions, Native American religions and Pacific religions, the prehistoric era mostly ends only with the early modern period and European colonialism. These traditions were often only first recorded in the context of Christianization. For these reasons, the interpretations and understanding of the Iron Age cult in Europe has to rely primarily on archaeological material.